Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the 2021 ENGEN Pitch and Polish program. With me, your host, MCZ James. And in tonight's episode, we'll be catching up with our remaining two contestants from the yellow group and finding out which of them will secure the final and coveted spot in the semi-final round. Now, this year, we were able to bring this amazing program to entrepreneurs across the whole of South Africa, thanks to the support of our incredible sponsors. So, a big thank you goes out to ENGEN Petroleum, our title sponsor, our gold sponsor, Nedbank, our program organizer, Race Corp, and our venue sponsor, the Business Exchange. Okay, so before we catch up with tonight's contestants, let's take a quick look at how things currently stand in the competition so far. From the red group, Andile Sisanti of Sisanti King was the first contestant to make it through to the semi-finals. He was followed by blue group contestant Omatema of Plus Fab, and then green group contestant Buntle Chole of Bar Health. Tonight, we'll discover whether these three contestants will be joined by either Carla Botha from Ace Consortium or by Pete Duplessis and Leon de Kock of Guju. Before the battle commences, I reckon now's a good time to catch up on some of the learning that our 2021 contestants have been receiving. Here is Race Corp Learning Facilitator, the incomparable Yasmin Ali.
As mentioned in a previous episode, a key difference between a lifestyle entrepreneur and a growth entrepreneur is the ability to build a strong team. Investors are big on small businesses putting together a team as early as possible. Teams indicate to the investor that the product is more than just the output of a hustling and bustling entrepreneurial type, and that the business has the potential to grow and scale. Who are the people that make this business work? Your team gives you credibility, and having a strong team gives the investor comfort that even if something were to happen to you, their investment would be safe. But what if you don't have a team yet? If your team isn't what you want it to be now, you still have to talk about the team that you'd like, right? Or if you don't have people in the key positions that you would ideally want, you still have to mention those key positions and how it would work. So what are some of the things that you can think of that would trigger somebody being able to come into the business on a full-time basis? So you need a clear job description, in other words, right? You need very clear key responsibilities, very clear pieces that you're going to measure people against, okay? So be it KPIs and all of those wonderful things. Have those in place before you start looking for somebody. Not having a team may create concern for the investor. After all, no entrepreneur can carry every role in the business. So you need to know who your key team members would be and when you would bring them into the business. What would key triggers or milestones be? How will you know that you need to bring a new person in? And do you know what you will need them to do within the business? You will also need to highlight what measures will be in place to monitor and maintain the work and output of your team. It isn't just about getting the right people, it's about making sure that you get the best results from them too.
Thank you, Yaz. Now, like I said to you last time, we only have time to briefly touch on some of the topics that our contestants have been covering during their learning sessions. But if you're serious about polishing your own pitch, I highly recommend you head on over to pitchandpolish.com and click on the Pitch Lessons tab, where we'll be adding more and more case studies from some of the earlier pitches in the competition. These break down the pitches in detail so you can gain more insight into what the contestants got right and what they didn't. So use this as an opportunity to learn from the experienced folks, because maybe next year you might be confident enough to enter the ENGEN Pitch and Polish competition yourself. Now, while you may have to wait until next year to enter the competition, you don't have to wait long at all for your shot to win a great viewer prize that we're giving away later on in tonight's episode. So make sure you stay tuned. But before we get ahead of ourselves, earlier on, I caught up with Carla at the stunning Radisson Blue Gautrain Hotel, which has been hosting our out-of-town contestants. Man, I'm so jealous, man. Yo. But at least I got to check out some of their great facilities. So, Carla, congratulations. You made it to round 2.
Thanks so much.
You're here now. How did round 1 go for you? How did you find it?
So round 1 was quite daunting. It was coming in and not really knowing what to expect once you walked into the arena with the judges. Quite daunting walking there, not really knowing the judges that well. But I think going in there, the judges sort of settled your nerves before you had to pitch. Yes, I didn't do it in the 90 seconds. I went a little bit over. But on the whole, it was a great experience. I learned a lot in round 1 about me as a person and about where I see this business going. So overall, it was an amazing experience.
And the judges' comments to you and their critique and judgment, which is what they had to do. How did you find that? Did you think some of that was too harsh, or was it fair?
No, I think particularly a question that Alon posed at me has shaped what I'm going to present in the next round, is that he wanted to know about competition and do I know who my competitors are. And he mentioned that 20 other brands had entered this competition. So what? Leather brands. So what sets me apart? And this has allowed me to look into the business and realize that I'm actually not competing against them, because I don't want to be another leather brand. I'm pushing to be a leather manufacturer. So that was a good one for me to understand exactly where I'm putting myself in the market.
Round 2, new day to pitch, new judges, a couple of new judges on the panel. Has your guide prepared you in any sort of way? What have they done to help you go into this next pitch?
So actually today in our session, we're looking back as to when we met and when we started. It's now about a month in. And I think the first guiding sessions for top 16 was more looking at me as a person and where I see myself in the scheme of things, and also about me believing in what I'm doing and not always looking at what I've built in the 2.5 years as being insignificant, but valuing what I've done up to this point. And now at a point where I realize the value of this business and where I'm wanting to pitch it in the next 2 years, going into our 5th year in 2023 it is, and then preparing for that. So that's what we're looking at now and where we're positioning ourselves in the market. And so that's been what we were working on today. So I'm feeling quite prepared for tomorrow. I mean, anything can still happen between then and now. But overall, I'm feeling more confident in what I'm going to pitch tomorrow, and it's just fine-tuning that between this evening and tomorrow afternoon. And on a whole, I'm feeling okay.
Well, I back you. But like you say, the last time you pitched, it was a bit too long and you were buzzed out. The timer went off. Have you worked on that timing so far?
Yeah, so we're sort of trying to introduce who I am, what I'm about, what the company is about in a minute, and then focusing on should I win the competition, how it would benefit me and how it would springboard the company to the next level.
You're amongst the last group that pitched, so you had the pleasure of watching all the other pitches too. Anyone you saw in any of those groups where you thought, no, not this one, please, I don't want to go against this person?
There were quite a few that are quite, like Yaz said today, even in our training, that this is quite a strong group of people that we're up against. So it's not, you know, not second guessing one person for 1 minute, and staying sharp and concentrating on what your offering is and sharpening that and presenting that to your best ability tomorrow.
Of course, your grass doesn't grow greener by staring at your neighbor's grass.
No.
All the best. I'm sure you're going to do well and hopefully see you in the next round.
Hopefully. Thank you so much.
Before Carla braves our intimidating judges, here's a reminder of who they are. Bongiwe Bako is back to represent ENGEN Petroleum. Monique Chinner is again joining us from Nedbank. And from Rays Corp, we have Alon Rays. Let the pitching begin.
Welcome, Carla.
Thank you very much.
So, Carla, you do know that tonight you are pitching for 2 minutes.
Yes, I do know that.
All right. And are you ready for your pitch today?
I think I am, yes, as ready as can be.
You sound very confident. We look forward to that. All right, Carla, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pitch and polish.
Hi, I'm Carla Botha and I'm the founder and director of ACE Consortium. At ACE Consortium, we manufacture leather products such as belts, wallets, bags and accessories. We are based in Cape Town in Ottery, and we currently manufacture for the major online stores in South Africa under their private label, as well as our own brand, Western Brown. We have now been able to clearly identify our placement in the market as a leather product manufacturer. Over the next 2 years, our target is to build ACE Consortium as a leading leather product manufacturer in South Africa. 2 years from now also is a big milestone for us as a company, as we'll celebrate our 5th anniversary in August 2023. Our business goals are as follows. 1, building solid distribution channels. 2, increasing our margins. 3, dominating a space where our competitors are weak, which is online. And 4, going into the international market. Our main focus has been on online retail, as we view this as a growing sector. The Business Insider published an article which showed that in 2019, only 2% of South Africans' retail spend was in e-commerce. However, post-COVID, we have seen a massive increase in online shopping, and it is estimated that in the next 5 years, we will see 225 billion rand spent in e-commerce. We have seen the growth pattern in e-commerce in the volumes which we push out. In year 1, we did 5,000 units. Year 2, 10,000 units. Now heading into the balance of year 3, we are looking at a total amount of 19,868 units. Should this trajectory continue, we would see 37,000 units in year 4 and 70,000 units in year 5. Winning this competition will enable us to reach our business goals by acquiring the necessary machinery, increasing our capacity and volume, and tapping into the high-end market through the online stores and via our brand.
Sure. Carla, was that the end of your pitch?
One more line.
One more line.
It will assist us in running the business more efficiently by introducing technology through systems. Thank you so much.
Great. Monique, questions from you.
What differentiates you in the market? So what makes you unique as a manufacturer or distributor?
So with leather products, it is difficult because, like in my large pitch, Alon alluded to the fact there are lots of leather brands, lots of leather manufacturers. So this is why I've put my focus on the online, because that is a market where I can tap into and be different. And different doesn't mean in the product that we're manufacturing, it's more along the lines of the service that I'm going to offer the buyer. And hence why I'm here today is because my business is at a point where the buyer requires quick turnarounds. The fashion industry is a very driven industry where trends change, things change, and it's constantly developing. And we're seeing that in order to keep up, in order to be that different, we are going to need to respond to trends quicker, respond to our customer demand quicker. So that's where we are wanting to set ourselves apart from the rest at the moment.
So service delivery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Alan.
Hi.
Carla, you spoke about your plan to increase your margin.
Yeah.
How do you plan to do that?
So at the moment, in order to build the business to where it is now, almost 3 years in, we've had to set our margins at a level where we needed to push into the market, right? So we're looking at a current margin of 40%. And an important way for us to increase that margin is tapping into the higher end market. So our clients are currently selling our products at a certain point. However, our products are alongside all the big brands like your Diesel and Polo, which are selling their products for double our. So one of our main clients is now currently launching a high-end brand with us, where we will be able to increase our margins up to 80% per product. So that is the plan at the moment, is increasing the level of product that we manufacture.
Sure. So where have you positioned yourself right now? Are you a premium brand or a standard brand?
So the last time, even Alon alluded to the fact that there are lots of brands, even lots of brands that entered this competition. And through that question and the journey I've been on here, it's allowed me to see, where do I want to position myself as a brand? No. I want to position myself as a manufacturer. So at the moment, within the companies that I do supply, they have multiple brands, which allows more flexibility for me as a company. So they've got their lower end brand. We're now developing a higher end brand. And this also allows me to then pitch my Western Brow brand at a higher level. So I wanted to be at a top market level, not at the level where they are selling our products at now.
Thanks, Carla.
Yeah, I want to come back to the business side of
Yes.
the business, right? So if I remember correctly, you're working from home?
Yes.
You've got like a little
We've
factory.
built on a section,
A
yeah.
section from, and to me, the real issue is when you move from home into a proper manufacturing space, where you're paying market-related rent, and you know everything becomes market-related. And my question around the margin side is around: is that sufficient for you to actually make a profit? Because also remember that you're marginal right now as a business, and then you're going to expand. You've got higher volumes. You move into a more expensive space. Is this a good? So here's my question: is this a good business? And I know you're going to say it is. And so why is it a good business?
So looking into the numbers and if this is going to be viable, you know, both for an investor and for me to continue. So when looking at it, at the moment we do about 10 belts per hour, which translates to 800 Rand. And timesing that by, you know, the different variables, we come to about 1.5 million Rand per year. So our target now, based on unit projections that we have from our clients as well as margins, we're looking to triple that in the next 3 years, which would give us an amount of 30 belts per hour and 2,400 Rand per hour, which translates to 4.6 million per year. So yes, my overheads are very minimal at the moment where I'm at, but even in acquiring this investment from Pitch and Polish, it's not going to change the structure of the business. It's not going to, as far as manpower and that's going to stay the same, even though we're going to push out more units because we'll get an injection of machinery to assist that program. So we will still have sufficient funds to manage the infrastructure growth as far as getting a factory and all of that we would need to look at.
Okay. Yeah, that's it from me. We will see you in the elimination.
Thank you very much for your time. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
The judges seem to be impressed that Carla has shifted her thinking around her business model and looking at becoming more of a manufacturer for other brands, but they still had a bit of concern about the competitive environment and her margins. Let's find out how she's feeling after her pitch. Carla, we can breathe. Hey?
Most definitely so.
Finish and clear, you've done it,
It's
you've
done.
made it through.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about your pitch today?
I'm feeling good. I think more because of what I've learned and that I feel confident in what I'm doing, in my business, in what we've achieved thus far. So I think that's why today I don't feel as nervous as I felt in the first round. So yeah, I'm feeling good. Either way, I've gained a lot through this process.
You sounded good, you sounded confident, you knew your numbers. Hey, 1 million, 4 million. All I heard was millions, and I was like, oh, yes, it's all. Hey, why am I playing the Powerball when I can come straight to you, man? The judges' questions, did any of them catch you by surprise? You seemed very quick to answer all of them, so were you prepared
I was
for all
so
those?
glad that my mentor and I sat with that pitch yesterday and we made sure that we had the numbers down because we knew that was coming this time round.
Amazing.
So I was so excited that we actually dealt with everything, that I didn't look like a complete clown going out there and like thumb sucking, that I could actually give them actual numbers, and that's what's been amazing about this journey, that it's made me know so much more about my own business.
I love that, man. Well, congratulations on making it this far.
Thank you.
We'll see shortly if you make it any further. Now, earlier I told you that we're giving away a great viewer prize. What is it, you may ask? Well, iTech has kindly sponsored a Lexmark monochrome laser printer for one of our lucky viewers. Super handy if you're running your own business. Do you want to win this? Of course you do. So head on over to our Facebook page and answer this question. Name 3 of the items that Carla is currently producing. Name 3 items that Carla is currently producing. Right, time to move on. Before we get into our second and last pitch for the night, earlier on, I caught up with Piet and Viljoen, who are also staying at the Radisson Blue Gautrain Hotel. Those lucky so-and-sos. Gentlemen, welcome back.
Thank you.
Firstly, congratulations for making it to round 2. How are you feeling about round 1? I know there's a bit of nerves going on during round 1's pitch. How are you guys feeling about that?
Round 1, stepping into the hole, it's like a theater.
Yeah.
It felt like.
First time ever.
Mouth completely dry. That was hectic. But I think as soon as the judges started speaking to us, you relax and you get calm and you can do your pitch.
Well, I think pitching in general is a skill that you need to hone and keep practicing. Going into round 2, have you guys been practicing your pitches and your pitching skills?
Yes, but we had to change a little bit some of the things that we wanted to cover, because there are more important points to cover, and so we're tweaking it right now. So, for tomorrow.
That's exciting. So you've been in, yeah.
Sorry, and after today's class as well, there's a couple of points that we need to refine and tweak a little bit.
Yeah. I was about to ask, of course, you've been in a guiding session this whole day. How was that as your guide, giving you more pointers, feedback from the last pitch? How was that for you guys?
Very informative.
Yeah, Daryl is a great guide. I mean, and we were really lucky to get him as well, because he's he's a marketing guru, and usually that's where we really need help. So his expertise and advice really helped us a lot to tweak this, and even you know, the months that we've been back at the factory, you know, adjusting the business methodology that we're using, you know, it's making a difference already.
Yeah, I mean, since your guys' first pitch, since we started, there's COVID levels have been up and down, level 4, level 3. How's it affected your business with more continued lockdowns?
It really doesn't affect our business. We're very fortunate. But like we said, we need to tweak a couple of things.
Yeah.
Alon also said to us, there's a couple of things that we must be aware of. We're in a stage of our business where we're growing, and it's a dangerous stage. So we need to have our systems in place, and that's what we did now for the last 4 weeks.
It's so interesting that you say it doesn't affect your business at all, because I imagine you supply a lot of restaurants and stuff like that. I was just saying how my restaurant has been just in survival mode since the beginning of these new added restrictions, been interested in getting some of your product, but in the same time I've been like, just save what I've got at the moment. So you're saying that didn't affect your business at all the last month?
You know, people like to make drinks at home as well.
Yeah, okay.
And so on. And they opt for the healthy, sugar-free option. You know, if just more restaurants would maybe support us, like yours, you know.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
And we focus on retail stores currently,
Yeah, okay.
and retail stores are open and they're still going on, and I think that's our saving grace.
Well, gentlemen, I wish you nothing but the best as you go into the second round of pitching, but good luck.
Great,
Thank you
thanks
very
a lot.
much.
Now let's see how Pete and Viljoen do in their pitch.
Viljoen and Peter, welcome.
Thank you.
Good evening.
For our viewers who haven't watched before, who's who?
I'm Viljoen.
And I'm Peter.
Okay. Right, so you're aware that you have 2 minutes to pitch today.
Yes.
Great, and are you ready?
Yes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pitch and polish.
Good evening. My name is Viljoen de Kok,
And I am Peter du Plessis.
and we are from a proudly South African company called Guju. Guju is an Afrikaans acronym, and it stands for Goedheid uit die grond uit, roughly translated as goodness from the earth.
I'm sure we are all aware obesity, diabetes and related diseases are escalating at a rapid rate, and our sugar intake is part of the problem.
Myself and Peter are very into health and wellness. We both lost 30 kilograms, and we couldn't find a good sugar alternative, so we decided to create it ourselves. We now manufacture sugar-free cordials and syrups, and what sets us apart from the rest is that we created a secret sugar-free blend called Sugo. 0 aftertaste, 0 calories, and it's currently patent pending.
So we have a very strong brand, and our look and feel is very unique, and it's easy for the user to recognize our products on a retail outlet on a shelf. Over the last 3 years, our turnover has grown by 45%, 60%, and this year we're already on 110% growth.
Our big dream is to become a global household brand. We've just secured an exclusive distribution agreement with Macro, and we're busy working on the same type of agreement with Spar that will kick in the summer, and that will be our barrier to entry.
So we realize that the scalability increases complexity, and that is why we are constantly improving on our systems and our processes to accommodate this kind of growth.
We will soon invest 600,000 Rand to import raw materials, but we need the 650,000 Rand from Pitch and Polish for product automation and standardization, and we also need the mentorship to take us further. Thank you.
Sure, exactly 1 second left. Yes. Oh, that was well timed. All right. Let's start with you, Monique.
I love your brand.
Thank you.
I'm sold on the story. I like the way that you can articulate what keeps you up at night. If you don't win the 650,000, where to from here?
So our staff is really well trained. We would love to standardize, but what we mean by that is we need equipment to standardize the levels to fill the bottles and so on, and to put the labels on exactly the same place. So that standardization will increase the quality tremendously for the retail outlets that we need. But if we don't win, we can still carry on the way we are, and then probably in the next 3 years or so, we can invest in the equipment that we really need.
Thank you, Alan. You spoke about your growth that goes up to 110%, which is quite good. I wasn't clear from what base are you growing. So how are your sales? What are the numbers that are growing that far?
Sure, you're the finance guy, so he's got to answer that. I wanted to answer the next question.
So can you rephrase that question for me?
So you spoke about the percentage of your growth,
Right.
but I'm not. What I want to uncover is what are the numbers that are growing? Is it from 1,000 or from 100 to make this kind of growth?
Right.
What's your base?
So when we started out 7 years ago, we were very proud of the 50 cordials per month that we made and sold. And at the moment, we are doing 10,600 cordials per month. So that's...
But with our macro contract, it will increase with 4,000 cordials a month.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, an average of 4,000 cordials a month.
Oh, I have another it's not a follow-up question, it's a different question. Your artificial sweetener.
Right.
Normally, we do have a variety of artificial sweeteners in South Africa, and they have side effects. You have one or two that are deemed to be healthy. Does your sweetener have any side effects?
Okay, we are using xylitol and stevia to sweeten our cordials. It's considered the most natural ones to use. Our direct competition uses sucralose, which is a more chemical derivative. The only side effect with xylitol, and it's got a laxative effect. But we have the warning on the label. Overconsumption gives a laxative effect.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Peter, you spoke about complexity based on obviously our conversation last pitch, right?
Right.
So you said you're dealing with the complexity with systems. Just expand on what that is. What are you actually doing?
So we're running the business now on the cloud. So we've can I say electronic, made it all electronic, which makes accountability much easier for us. And then scalability, I can't remember what we...
Yeah, I want to add to that question is, from October until December, we are very busy with Christmas markets that we do. And then what we normally do is we employ casuals to work. So we train them for that 3 months, and we give them a 3-month contract. And we tell them afterwards, if the business is not growing, they have the 3 months to work, and then it's gone. But we haven't fired, or we haven't let one of them go. We'll always include them in the business, and then we can train them further. And I think that is one of the systems we have in place to see that our staff is well trained and that they can fit in with our whole process.
Yes, and then we also have off-site storage if needed. If there's an overflow from our factory, we do have a facility where we can actually store.
And we've just implemented, with our last conversation, we implementing our food safety and our hygiene, and what's the other one? There's a third one that we're implementing, and that is so that we can supply macro. So it's one of the systems we've put in place.
Okay, last question from me is around cash flow. This growth, normally growth sucks up cash, right? Now, Monique's question was around like what happens if you don't win. But I think the subtext is that if there is sufficient margin, a bank would step in. That's where a finance house, a bank, etc., would step in to support the growth. Are those kind of conversations happening? Because for me, that doesn't make sense. If you're growing and your margins are right, then why can't you get the kind of funding you require through, let's call it, normal means?
I think, like I said in the pitch as well, we are investing 600,000 Rand to import our raw materials. Yeah. To import our raw materials will cut our production cost almost in half, because we buy through a third party. We buy our raw materials that's also imported. So if we can import it, that will help us. And that is where we've been saving so that we can do it. And that's where our cash flow currently sits. And to do the macro order, it's also a huge chunk out of our cash flow. But we've prepared for that, to put that in place. And I think that will work after that.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you. We will see you in the elimination.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, you may go.
Well, that was a confident pitch by Peter and Viljoen, but they did seem to struggle a bit when it came to the judges' follow-up questions. Oh man, I would never want to swap places with the judges, especially on a night like this. Whew, I think it's going to be a tough call. While the judges wrestle with a decision, let's find out how Viljoen and Peter are feeling after their pitch. Gentlemen, a sigh of relief, it's finally done.
Yes.
How are you feeling after that pitch?
I feel good. I feel good.
A bit shaky.
A couple of grilling questions, but...
Which questions do you think caught you the most off guard?
Our scalability. He said about our scalability and that we're in a difficult situation.
So, and what we're doing about the scalability and the complexity around that, and so that's kind of, and we do have the answers in the back of your head, but when you stand in front of the judges, it's like
yeah, struggle to get it out in the moment.
Yes.
I mean, what would you change going forward about your pitch? Because it was obviously well rehearsed. You were just on time, exactly 2 minutes for your pitch. So going forward, if you do make it to the next round, what are you changing?
I think breathe.
Yeah.
We need to breathe.
breathing, and I think that we'll bring a bit more of our personal story into it, because that explains the passion, why we have the passion, what we're doing.
I agree. I mean, hearing your personal stories and what you guys have been through in the 30 kilograms, please teach me how to do it firstly. Guys, congratulations on your second pitch and hopefully see you in the next round. Our judges have made their decision. Will it be Carla or will it be Peter and Viljoen? Let's join them now to find out.
Carla, Viljoen, Peter. See, it's everyone's dressed in black. I just have to say that we've been deliberating for a long time. This is, up until now, the hardest deliberation. And it is so marginal that I feel like I want to change my mind every 5 seconds as I'm speaking. It is so close. It's actually painful. It's actually really, really painful. So let's start with you, Carla. Okay, I think your pitch was so much better. It was really the improvement, the clarity, the presentation. I mean, you could feel the maturity happen. You know, it would like watching a flower. Flower. It was an absolutely beautiful experience. And what I really, really enjoyed was the fact that you knew your numbers. I felt solid, that you knew your numbers, you wanted to know the numbers. I thought that was incredible. But the biggest thing for me, and for all the judges, was the answer to the question, what type of business are you in, when you said, I'm in the manufacturing business, not in the brand business. That was like a level of maturity that you just don't see in entrepreneurs, because what you've said is that I've chosen the type of business I'm in, and it might not be as sexy as the brand, but this is where my competence is, and so I'm going to make more money here than there, and that's a level of maturity which is unbelievable. Viljoen and Peter as well, you both, also an incredible business. Your business is so sexy It's such a sexy, sexy business. The growth, 110%, 45%, 65%, you know, and I don't think that's going to stop for a long time. I really don't. I think, you know, what came out in the discussion was that you guys are so authentic to your brand, and your target market like has a relationship with you. We've been onto your Facebook page. They love you. They love your product, and it's almost cultish in a weird way. And for me, what it feels like is that you sort of started this thing almost by mistake or necessity, and then you went, oh my gosh, like people actually like this. Oh my gosh, they love it. And you're sort of running behind this product and this business, which leads me to some of the negatives here, which is the scale question. I don't think you gave it a shot, but it was a very weak shot at that scale question, because it feels like you're constantly running behind this business, and this business is going to keep throwing you like curveballs the whole time. You know, things are going to happen, and you know, in the growth, and if you don't concentrate maturely on the margins, maturely on the production, on the systems, on the processes, then you know, one trip and everything you've built will be a story that you will tell, you know, over a glass of something, you know, in your 60s, about the business that you had. It is so, it can tipple anyway. Your pitch was very similar to last time. It sort of almost as if, okay, we've got 30 seconds extra, just add in that and add in that. And so there wasn't a lot of work done on that pitch, which was quite disappointing, because I wanted to see a very different pitch, which tells me you've polished that pitch somewhere else before, and you keep using the same shtick, as they say in the movies. And then the product, you know, the labels needs a lot of work. And I know it's about the accuracy of the labeling, but also I think there's huge opportunity around the actual design in the label. But the marketer in me is saying, well, maybe that's part of the gimmick in it, is that it feels like it's you know, it's homemade. And so I'm in a dilemma there. For you, you've got the same, Carla, the same scale question. You're also on the verge. You're working from home. The 650 for you will do, I mean, it'll change your life. Absolutely change your life. It won't change your life as much as it will change your life. It won't change. It'll change your life. It'll give, you will buy that equipment. And as an entrepreneur, I'm trained to see an entrepreneur, what we call blue heart in Rose Corp. You have blue heart, you have bright blue heart. You are a fighter, you have fought for this, and you will make this happen. But what was missing for me in your pitch was that scale question. Was what I wanted to hear in your pitch was, if the business grows, my average cost of leather will drop by 23%. If my business doubles, this is what's going to happen. If my business doubles, this is what's going to happen. And I wasn't hearing that. So you also haven't thought through the scale problem. So you've got scale issues already, and you don't even know it. You've got scale issues coming, and you're not ready for it. So who do we give the money to? Who do we let go to the next round? And the question is, like if it was my money, who would I give it there? Would I give it there? I would even try to say, well, maybe they can both go. We tried that, but it just doesn't work. So the person going home today, or the team that's going home today, is Carla. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. You make leave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Peter and Filion, who'll be joining Muntle, Omar and Andile in the semi-final round. And sadly, it's goodbye to Carla, who really gave them a run for their money tonight. I have no doubt, though, that she'll use all the experience that she's gained during ENGEN Pitch and Polish to grow her business from strength to strength. And that's it for tonight, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Join me again next Tuesday night as we head into our semi-final round. Sure. Things are about to get real. For me, MCZ James, and the rest of the crew here at ENGEN Pitch and Polish, thank you so much for watching and good night.
I think coming into this competition, I didn't expect it for it to change me so much as an individual in my business. Going in there today, I went in there with 100% confidence in what I do, in what I've built, and in where I'm going. And that's been first prize for me. That I know this business is going to be a success with or without me winning this, because I have full confidence in what I'm doing. And that's been an amazing journey. And even in Alon's comments to me today, that's what came through. He saw my passion and what I'm carrying and where I'm wanting to take this. And I believe that this is the starting point and that the sky's the limit for me right now.